Game after game after game. The odds of losing, they're compiled. You're playing the system, and if you keep playing these games, you're going to maximize your chances of losing. The odds, they're stacked against you. Don't copy Togi. All you have to do is this. Do everything the opposite of Togi. Whatever Togi does, you do the opposite and you will be successful.
If every instinct you have is wrong, then the opposite would have to be right.
Coach Greg, in today's video, Togi's back at it again. The guy keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And so today's video, we're going to be talking about his skin condition, what's developed. Is he going to live past 30? Does he in fact have leukemia?
And we're recovering pretty well from Cabo. Check it out. I don't know how long it's been. Maybe like 5 to 7 days ago, I looked like this.
Aside from the face, I would say he was looking better in Cabo than he is right now. Remember, he was the most jacked guy in Cabo. And so in comparison, I'm not sure if this is supposed to be good.
Now I don't have to gamble to survive, which was fun, but it wasn't fun. But there's nothing actually dope about having your rent money on a freaking roulette spin.
And so I wouldn't call it fun to have an enormous amount of stress every minute of every waking day of your life. I mean, from having to deal with potential leukemia, chlamydia, and the recent skin disease that he's developed, it can't be fun. And so when you're gambling all the time, losing your life savings, it's very stressful. Combine that with all the recreational drugs, the sniffing creatine, the Xans, and so on. Add to that not sleeping all hours of the night, and you may in fact develop a skin condition. And so inevitably, your body eventually falls apart. And it starts speaking out to you in Braille. And so, Exhibit A.
I don't want to look at WebMD or it's going to say I got leukemia. So let me know in the comments, do I got something serious problem going on here? Because I've never seen nothing like that in my life, dude.
Let's address this. As everyone knows, Coach Greg is literally a doctor, as Mike Israetel once explained. Remember, Mike Israetel said Coach Greg always says he's a doctor. He stated that in videos. Tell me you haven't watched a Coach Greg video without having to tell me. In the comments section, someone said, it's the worst case of ligma I've seen. Over 2,000 likes. And so what exactly is ligma? Ligma balls. Buddy's doing too much sniffing creatine and turning white. It's skin cancer. Yeah, man, I think it's vitiligo. Dermatologist is away. It's fungus. And so let's clear it up and go over what exactly it is. It's likely not a fungus. If it was, it would be spreading in a localized fashion. It would present in one area and slowly be spreading to a different area. He's got some on his neck over here on the side as his armpit, and so very unlikely to be a fungus. And secondly, the borders of it are convex, which is not typical of a fungus, but more in line with vitiligo. What exactly is vitiligo, which is what I believe that he actually has? The most common way to get this is an autoimmune disorder where the body is attacking itself. It sees something, doesn't like it, and this is its way of defense. Your skin's pigment, it's made by cells called melanocytes, and sometimes your body actually attacks that as a method of defense. Now, this problem can be exacerbated or made worse by the following methods. For example, high periods of stress, lack of sleep, having a nutritional deficiency, as in not taking in the proper vitamins and minerals. Add to that, for example, things like alcohol, recreational drugs, and using steroids, which adjusts and alters your hormone balance, and this can in fact lead to vitiligo. Next, we know that Togi's been abusing steroids and also on a beta blocker, and beta blockers have been shown to also add to this problem. And so what we have is a whirlwind of difficulties, the perfect storm, if you will. He was doing so many bad things that something like this was almost inevitable. And so Togi, remember when I said you needed to hire Coach Greg as your life coach? For only $39,000 a year, I can help you. I'm so kind, so generous. And so if you were to hire Coach Greg and perhaps party less harder than last time, you could be cured and move on with your life. And so Togi, not only suffering from what I believe is vitiligo, but also suffering from neurological deficits, namely those involving his eye movements, facial patterns, and speech. And so we know that Togi does his fair share of recreational drugs, and and consumes a lot of alcohol. This can cause permanent brain damage. Alcohol can damage your cranial nerves and language function, and so imagine thinking you're going to have a normal IQ if you continue to abuse them. In recent videos, we've seen him have difficulties with ocular alignment. His eyes aren't pointing straight ahead. They're going inwards, outwards, they're all over the place. And also, do you notice the facial asymmetry? His face is not aligned. Normally it should be symmetrical, but he's demonstrating facial asymmetry.
We're calling this video Gear and Gambling, or wait, no. We're calling this video Golf and...
Notice his inability to form coherent sentences and his eyes being misaligned. And so notice his abnormal head tilt, tilting to the side. Kind of looks like Nick Ocado when he's being devious. 3 steps ahead. Only thing is, Togi's not 3 steps ahead. He's lucky if he's only 2 steps behind. And so Togi, if you don't want to turn into a vegetable, you got to lay off the drinking. We've already got way too many signs. He's 22 years of age. It's not looking good for Togi. And Togi was worried about the chlamydia. He's on Raw Talk talking about chlamydia? Far worse things to worry about than chlamydia. And so Togi, what I recommend is you get a brain scan, an MRI, to see all of the damage that you've had and see if we can limit further damages in the future. Please limit your damages. Now, I know we all have vices. We do things that perhaps we shouldn't do. But please party responsibly and limit your losses before it's too late.
$115,000 that I can do anything in the world that I want with. And a lot of you people are gonna want me to gamble it. Not gonna
Kirk!
Nerds. You guys are just preying on my downfall.
Exactly. People don't care about Togi. They just want to watch the train wreck unfold, watch him gamble away and lose all his money. I know you don't believe that because of making these videos. But the reality is this, I want Togi to stop gambling, I want him to start training harder than last time, and to become healthy. And if you're watching this, whatever you do, don't copy Togi. All you have to do is this, do everything the opposite of Togi. Whatever Togi does, you do the opposite, and you will be successful.
If every instinct you have is wrong, then the opposite would have to be right.
And then we're just gonna start over with the gambling journey, because this, we turned $1,000 basically into 115K in the last 2 videos.
And so by turning 1K into 115K, he means that he gambled away 1K about 100 or 200 times separately, and eventually he won some money. But remember, he lost his life savings. He had $200,000 in the bank. He lost it all, and now he's gotten half of it back. He's at $115,000, and he's decided he's going to spend it all on a brand new whip. The man who's paying $10,000 in rent for a shitty-ass house looks horrible. He's going to buy a car, a depreciating asset. Now, remember, you shouldn't be spending all your money on a car when you haven't even bought a home. Home can increase in value, car's going to decrease in value. It's not a good spend. And so imagine if he had Coach Greg as his life coach, $200,000 minus the $39,000, he'd still have $161,000. I would have told him to go and put a deposit on a home, perhaps save some of that money, and gotten a car loan. Something respectable, a used vehicle, something that's already depreciated.
But this is the first one we're checking out, and look at this. 140 bandos. This is 140, we gotta get out of this car. This is so far out of budget, bro.
And so here's the thing. When you go car shopping, you should look at the price of the vehicle before you sit in front of it and fall in love. If you can't afford it, don't even think about it. And so you decide, what amount can I spend? If it's $115,000, you say, which vehicles do you have that cost under $115,000? Does that not make sense?
And you think, you gotta pay taxes, 8%, so what? It comes out to 152. He got 152 bando for the car.
While in Canada and Coach Greg's land, I have to pay 15% tax plus a 20% tax on vehicles that cost over $100,000. And so when you buy, for example, a McLaren, you're paying 35% tax plus we have a 54% tax rate. And so Togi, in Canada, when you make $10 million in a year, you have to pay over $5 million in taxes. And so you're left with $5 million. Then when you go and buy that sports car, you have to pay an additional 35% tax on top of that. And so imagine the stress of living in Canada.
Why do they all look the same? Let's look at this one. Is that one more nicer because it's black?
No, this one's cooler because it's green.
but it's 50,000 less.
And so, Togi, here's something to know. Cars aren't based on their color. It's literally what is in the car. The engines, the additions, everything. Now, what I would suggest is you buy one that's used. People aren't going to notice if you're driving a 2024 or a 2020. Just drive a car that you can afford, that you actually like. And newsflash, test drive the vehicle before you buy it. Remember, I've already watched this video. I already know which car he's going to buy. You should probably sit in the car, make sure you fit. You're 6'2". I'm a 5'6" man. I can drive anything.
So this one's cooler.
Can you hold the camera and shut the up? Oh my God, dude, I'm trying to vlog here, bitch.
Maybe they have an understanding. Is it okay if I call you all these names on camera, make fun of you, put you down, lower yourself? As I'm trying to look cool. Now remember what I said earlier. Togi is the example of what not to do. Don't copy this. You don't say, hold the mother camera. I'm trying to vlog here, bitch. Shut the Well, you can, but there's ways of getting your point across without being so disrespectful.
Oh my God, $125,000 for an electric machinery. I can't afford that.
And so remember previously when Togi said he had more money than Coach Greg? Do you all remember this? Editors, can we show Togi saying he had more money than Coach Greg?
Greg, I'm 22 years older than you, and I make more goddamn money than you.
But yet, he's worried about vehicles that cost $150,000. My worst of my 4 vehicles cost more than that, Togi. Togi, if you actually made money, you wouldn't have to gamble harder than last time in order to afford a vehicle.
I'm feeling defeated. We could get down 4, but it's like, it's not even really going to give me that many more bitches than this car does.
And so he says, yeah, we could get the M4, but it's not going to get any more bitches than this car is, as his woman is literally recording. I don't know how she puts up with it.
What up? Check it out. What up? Boom. Garbage pile. That's how you organize this shit. It's actually, we can do some cleaning up while we're here.
And so as we enter his room, we realize that Togi doesn't make any money. Togi, you can hire a cleaner. I know you're too much of a big shot to resort to cleaning the house on your own, but isn't that what your woman is for? I mean, you're saying, bitch, hold this camera, bitch, do this and do that. Can't she pick up a mop, a broom, get in the kitchen and work? And I'm being sarcastic. You can actually hire someone to do that. But to live in this crud, for a moment, I thought I was watching an episode of Hoarders.
Yeah, I can tell. It looks better than this morning.
And so he comes back home and look who's there. The man he's in a situationship with. And is his girlfriend not jealous? Well, perhaps she's not jealous because it's somebody of the same sex. And so, for example, it applies to men. Men dating women, for example, if the woman cheats on her man with another woman, he's not intimidated. He's like, it's just a girl. And so perhaps she's not intimidated because it's another man.
You know you can like take out a loan and like lease the car.
I don't want to rent one that people would...
No, it's not like...
And so Togi, for the first time in life, learns this. You can lease a vehicle. Togi has encountered new information. New brain cells have awoken. You can actually put down a down payment and buy something without having the money in full. Now remember, don't do what Togi does. The majority of people live well beyond their means. 90% of people spend money that they don't have. They're living in debt, living in poverty because their spending exceeds their earnings. And so now that he's discovered this, he's thinking, why don't I buy 2 vehicles?
I can borrow money and buy a car with the borrowed money?
Yeah.
I'm going to get a f***ing Lamborghini.
Yeah, I was going to say like 115,000.
Oh, that's awesome.
I can borrow money and buy a car. He's freaking out. He did not know this. He's 22. He should have stayed in university.
We're getting a Lamborghini now. I'm going to get a Ferrari and a Lamborghini. Going to put 100 down, get a Ferrari and a Lamborghini and a Bentley, and are going to be all up in my shit.
Let's not get carried away. Let's start with getting one vehicle. And remember, they do in fact check your credit. And when you have a horrible credit, you're called a get-me bot. I used to date a woman who worked at a car dealership. She would do the financing. People would come in there with poor credit, and they would jack the shit out of the loan percentages and charge people so much money, and they would say yes. And little did you know that these financing departments, they actually add more percentages than they need. And so, for example, if you've been approved at 17% financing, they might say, guess what? Good news, you've been approved at 19.9%. And do you know where that extra 2.9% goes? In their pockets. This is how corrupt the industry is, and you thought Coach Greg knew nothing about finance. Just because I'm not 6'5", Blue Eyes Finance Trust Fund doesn't mean I don't know how to purchase a vehicle.
I'm looking for a man in finance with trust fund. 6'5", Blue Eyes.
But how exciting is that, guys? You're looking at your next Lamborghini driver. So we're gonna check it out when we're back home. But for now, we'll check in later for LA things.
And so he's now made it official because he's posted it on the internet. And so on the internet, Snapchat and so on, he's saying, I'm buying the Lambo. And so despite all of this, he didn't have enough money. They looked at his credit and said, bro, you don't have a job. You don't have years of an established income. And so we're not going to approve you. You need $175,000. And so rather than saying, oh, I just don't have that much money, I'm going to perhaps get a cheaper vehicle, he has to now go gamble all his money away, try to make $175,000 in order to be a man of his word. I mean, after all, he posted on Snapchat that he's going to get a Lambo. And so how could he now say, hey, guess what? I couldn't actually afford it. I didn't have the deposit, perhaps next month or next year. No, I now need to risk my life savings again in order to put down a deposit on buying a Lambo.
The Lamborghini guy texted me talking about how I got bad credit and I'm only 22 and I don't have any assets.
So here's a small tip. You shouldn't own a vehicle worth more than your home. Your home assets should be worth more than your vehicles. Does that make sense? In other words, don't buy a Lambo if you're paying rent on a shitty ass house.
This is a problem. You know why? I flexed the Lambo on my Snapchat already. And now I can't afford the Lamborghini.
Instead of flexing the Lambo, flex the biceps, Togi. Go to the gym, actually work out, and get that dream physique. I know you stated you've already had it, but you've also stated you want your IFBB Pro card.
What up?
What up? How much money you got?
How much money? Not very much, man.
I need $65,000.
And so if Togi calls you up for a loan, you say, I don't have any money for you. You don't need to lie. Oh, I don't have any money. If Togi said, Coach Greg, I want to borrow $65,000. I'm trying to buy a car. I'd say, I have that much money, but I'm not going to loan it to you because I don't believe you're going to be responsible.
Bro, I already flexed the Lambo on my Snapchat story.
65,000 to give you?
We got to all collectively sell our cars or else I'm going to look stupid on the internet.
Togi's literally worried about looking stupid on the internet. Togi, have you not looked at yourself on the internet? It hasn't been a problem so far, and so why are you worried about it?
That's a homeless dude. Yeah, he's got
No, dude, that is f***ing shame. Look at the glasses, bro. Look at the glasses, bro.
What are you?
Yeah, I'm doing a thing.
And so clearly standing out begging for money, need money for Lambo isn't going to work. And so unlike what you learned from watching Mike O'Hearn need money for Tren, this is just not it. It's a lot cheaper to buy Tren than it is to buy a Lambo, and so this is not going to work. And unfortunately, it never worked for Mike O'Hearn either, as he's clearly 100% natural.
Realistically, turning 115,000 into 175,000 isn't even a 2x. That should be theoretically really easy.
Yes, the odds are not all that bad. There are great odds of turning 115 into 175. It's clearly over 50%. Let's call it 75%. Let's go with that. But there's also that 25% chance that you're going to lose it all. If 3 out of 4 people walk away and get that Lambo, that's great, but one of those people is going to lose their entire life savings. And so is it actually worth it? I don't think so.
Where's my computer? I'm booking tickets to Mexico. I'm going to Mexico tomorrow to be there for 1 day, make 65 bandos, come back, buy the Lamborghini, 3-day turnaround, should have the Lambo in 3 days.
And so last I checked, his favorite way to gamble, it's online. And so why would he drive to Mexico and gamble for 3 days when he could quite literally bet it all right now? I'm just being factual. Remember, I'm trying to be unbiased. The best odds of winning would be on a one-time bet where the payout is going to be $175,000. You bet it all, $115,000, and if you win, perhaps you bet on a sports team, you win $175,000. If you lose everything. That way you're maximizing your odds. But if you play for 3 days straight, game after game after game, the odds of losing, they're compiled. You're playing the system, and if you keep playing these games, you're going to maximize your chances of losing. The odds, they're stacked against you.
The guy just texted me and he goes, "Oh, where's the wire? The wire was supposed to come 2 days ago." And I go, "Oh, sorry, I don't know why my bank's taking so long to send it."
As Jordan Peterson once said, remember I suggested he read his book? Always tell the truth, or at least don't lie. Why not just tell the truth? I don't have 175,000. I only have 115,000, so I'm going to go gamble to try to make back this money so that I can put the down payment on the vehicle. Or you tell your fans, you're telling them right now, I don't have the money. The dealership, they wanted me to have more credit. It's a lesson. Perhaps you should acquire assets, perhaps a house, and so on. You could educate as you're doing this, but why would Togi want to do that?
We're leaving Tijuana one way or another with the money. We're gonna sell Liv and potentially her car.
No.
And so regardless of what happens, he's walking out with the Lamborghini. He may not, in fact, have a camera woman. His girlfriend, he may sell to the cartel. But hey, that's his own prerogative. Do what makes you happy. And I'm sure he's kidding. Please don't take this seriously.
But my situation is way different now because this 115 is my life, is like all of my savings, but I have enough income from sponsorships and all that to survive.
Now hear me out. All this money he's making from sponsors, let's say he's making $30,000 or $50,000 a month. You save some of that money, and a couple months from now, you then put the deposit down. I mean, the dopamine from getting the vehicle, it's going to be strong when you first get it. But imagine putting in the work to then earn it. You save your money month after month, perhaps year after year. And eventually, you can afford it. You've now earned this. Versus gambling. The dopamine's going to be high, it's going to be low. Every time you bet and you lose money, you're going to get depressed. And so, of course, when you win, you're going to be on a high. Very high because you went very low. But eventually, if you continue to lose your life savings, not everyone is as fortunate as Togi and can win it all back.
I've been on the hottest gambling streak of anyone ever. And now I'm only down total gambling like probably $70,000, $80,000.
Let that sink in a little bit. He's on the hottest streak ever, and he's only down $70,000 or $80,000. And so he's doing fantastic. He's only lost more money than most people make in a year.
Lamborghini! Lamborghini! No way, Joe! We just did it!
And so notice the dopamine, the excitement. Even though he's still in the hole, overall he's still losing. He's so excited. But that's because he's been down here. When you lose your life savings, $200,000, and you win back, for example, $65,000, you feel ecstatic. Because after all, that's $65,000 that you never had. But did you? You had $200,000. And lucky for him, he won some of it back. And so are you getting this? Don't gamble.
Should I jump off the balcony? This is the best, no, genuinely the best moment of my life.
And so the amount of excitement you get in your life, it's related to your level of dopamine. When you lose everything, your dopamine is very low. That is your new low. And so anything above that, it's going to feel good. And so imagine this scenario. Togi, he's really made it big. He's making, say, $5 million a year. He's doing amazing. Perhaps he has millions of followers on YouTube. He's making millions of dollars. But then suddenly something happens and he's now only making $1 million a year. He's going to feel disappointed. And so your level of happiness is a measure of how are you doing right now in comparison to how you thought you'd be doing. If you consistently get a 65 on your test and suddenly you get an 80, you're going to feel good. But if you are always used to getting 95 and you get 80, you're going to feel bad.
Check it out, we're back home. And by back home, I mean we're driving to Las Vegas, I know.
And so you can see the problems with his skin, perhaps the stress from gambling all night, the drugs that he perhaps was doing, the alcohol, the lack of proper nutrition.
Look how much of that we already went through. We probably are at $300. We should see if we can drink all of it and see.
And so that's the problem when you get a little bit of money. You stop thinking clearly. Spent $1,200 on the mini bar fridge. It's a waste of money. And so just because you make a lot of money in one moment in time shouldn't change entirely how you decide to spend your money.
Don't even follow me. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Why do you tell me that after I lost 10?
And so he's now gambling with Steve will do it. And Steve, he can afford to lose money. And so the stakes have now gone up. His net worth was now $168,000. Remember, he needed $175,000 to buy the Lambo. He's played 4 hands of cards. He's lost $13,000. And so how do you think that makes him feel? The dopamine level, it's gone down. He's feeling low. And so he has to now chase that high yet again. And how is he going to do that? By gambling more.
I'm trying to win $1 million. So I win $1 million, I'm up 400,000. I'll give you 100 grand.
And so that seems like a pretty good deal. Steve, who has $600,000, says if I go up 400,000 and I'm at $1 million, I'll give you 100. Really? I mean, that is a very generous donation.
So Steve, we lost all our money. Steve has given us 10,000.
I mean, at this point, it's giving Sugar Daddy, and Togi seems like a submissive little girl.
Oh, Steiny, do you know that you're
And so briefly, he's up $40,000, and then all of a sudden loses it all. That's how it works. This is gambling.
Steve just gave us 15 and we just got before you even know it.
And so he gives him another $15,000. This is the kind of sugar daddy that you want.
Suck that chip! Suck that chip, Steve!
And so miraculously, Steve gets to $1 million. And so what does that mean? Well, Togi gets $100,000. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It seems to be a very good gambling method. You gamble with somebody who has way more money than you. And if they win big, you also win big. And say, hey, perhaps Togi's smarter than last time. Just like all the sugar babies of the world.
You were right, bro. We are absolutely winners. Dude,
I love it.
And so apparently Togi then said he had to lock in. And so he took all this money, locked himself in a room, and apparently gambled and won big. There's no proof of this, there's no cameras, but we just have to take his word. Does anyone believe this? When Togi loses money, there's always a camera to record it. But when he wins big, such as this, no cameras whatsoever. And so how are we to believe this? I don't believe this.
what that is. $250,000 buckaroonies, Mom. Check it out.
And so he's now won $250,000. You can believe it, you cannot believe it. I choose not to believe it, but does it really matter? If you continue to do this, unless you have a sugar daddy who continues to feed you more money, you're eventually going to lose everything you've ever earned.
You know, still trying to be a fitness influencer. But either way, we're staying healthy. We're, I don't know, getting more jacked or whatever.
They're pushing him too hard. You need to love the gym. Togi is not at a state where he needs to train to failure on every given set. He needs to train like most beginners and perhaps have 1 to 3 reps left in reserve. And so he perhaps goes to the gym, once or twice a week. He should be doing a full body workout, going through a circuit, and training more like Coach Greg. Do perhaps 2 or 3 working sets per body part, and that's enough. Togi already has his dream physique. He shouldn't be going to failure and beyond training 1 body part in a given workout. And so despite the lack of training, the partying and so on, he still has a very impressive physique, as you can tell as he goes through his posing.
Togi, for you for having such a good workout and being gambling buddies.
That's crazy. I just ran into him and I was like, you need to watch, bro.
And so the reward of having such a great workout, a brand new Rolex, perhaps worth over $20,000. That is his reward for having a good workout, for being gambling buddies. And so the gift giving of this sugar daddy, it's certainly through the roof. And I'm certainly hoping that all the honeys of the world are messaging Steve will do it harder than last time. This guy is extremely generous.
Look at what Steve just... I'm shaking, dude. Oh my God.
Did anyone actually see the color of the Rolex? Or did you all just see the female in the background? I'm just saying.
He claims he's got some magic potion that makes you not hungover.
The hyperbaric chamber, and then you'll do the red light bed for 20 minutes, and then you'll take a 30-minute hike in bath.
And so after partying harder than last time, it takes about 4 hours of all this sciencey stuff to get over it. That's a lot of work. Togi's thinking, yeah, I think I'll just go have a nap. I'm not going to drink again later tonight.
We're going to go downstairs and we're going to mix every single liquor. So we're going to grab a glass of wine, then a Corona, then a glass of whiskey, then a glass of vodka, then a glass of tequila.
Or we cannot do that. I mean, come on, guys. Did you see what he was? We're going to drink every single type of liquor and get as drunk as we can and then pass out and then go through all this science experiment. Or we could just not. We could not do that.
It's a new day. How about that? It's been great so far. And I've been inspired to my core.
And so you can see scratching the net amongst the skin problem. He perhaps said he had leukemia. He's not sure. Clearly his skin is not normal.
They got so much money. I gotta become a millionaire.
Didn't Togi say in a previous video that he had way more money than Coach Greg? And he's talking about how to become a millionaire. I mean, I don't want to have to point out the obvious, but when I'm right, I'm right. Togi's net worth has varied from $0 to $200,000, depending on the day. Togi, you're not making a lot of money.
I decided the first step in becoming a millionaire is I gotta get in the mindset of a millionaire. And I think the last little bit I needed, boom! Diamond Rolex alert.
Didn't he just get gifted a Rolex? And so he spends the majority of the money that he just made on a diamond Rolex. What was wrong with the previous Rolex? You just got a Rolex. But here's the thing. Again, I talk about the dopamine. Once you get accustomed to a certain line of living, anything below that, it's going to feel bad. And so once you've been gifted a Rolex, you now need a diamond Rolex to feel good. Or you don't get another Rolex. You find your dopamine elsewhere, perhaps from going to the gym, from eating healthy, from doing good things to keeping your body healthy. And so you got to give credit to Togi. He's at least getting into the gym. He's still working. He's partying, gambling, doing it all, but he's still finding the time to get to the gym.
Tomorrow we are going to the Eagles game, and I've never really watched sports. And you know what this means? This is the start of my sports betting career.
And so next, let's start sports gambling. I mean, why don't we just gamble on everything in life, as if life isn't fun enough? Remember, for some people, they need to have a bet in order to have fun in life. That is because that is their new normal. And so, for example, I can watch the UFC or basketball or football, baseball, whatever sport there is, and enjoy it without putting a single dollar on the line. And why is that? Because my normal is not gambling.
We're actually picking up the Lamborghini. I'm ecstatic, actually. It's been my dream car for a long time now, and who would have known that drinking and gambling did end up buying me my dream car.
And so the moment you've been waiting for, Togi is getting his dream car. How exciting will it be for him? Is it all that he hoped it would be and more? And I'm definitely liking the color, the black with the orange interior, looking fire. And so as he sits into the vehicle for the first time, he discovers, why is this so tiny? How do people fit in this thing? Not everyone is 6'2" and the biggest man in Cabo. Some of us are manlets like Coach Greg, 5'6", and we fit in these vehicles extraordinarily easily. And so perhaps you should have at least sat in your dream vehicle before purchasing one.
I didn't actually test drive this car or see it. I've never seen one of these cars. I just, thought I needed one real bad.
Is that like having a dream girl in your mind? You're picturing she would look a certain way, but you've never actually seen her, and then you meet her for the first time and you absolutely despise her? You can't stand her attitude, but that was your dream girl. Perhaps go on a date with that woman before you decide it's your dream girl.
Okay, wait, actually, how the fuck do you turn this on? We can't ask anybody. There's just, there's no way I'm going back in there and asking them how to fuck my car on.
Yes, we can. We can actually lower our manhood and say, I'm going to go and ask them a question. You can be so alpha that you're actually sigma, you don't give a shit about asking people questions. That's when you know you've really made it. People trying to be so alpha. I don't know how to use this car. I can't ask them. It's embarrassing. And so I'm just going to drive off and crash it.
The other Lamborghini, the Urus, you just click go and it goes like a regular car. This one doesn't seem to have that feature.
Yes, the Urus is in fact very easy to drive, but I'm sure that if you were to Google how to drive the Lambo, or perhaps ask the people who sold you the vehicle, they could spend 5 minutes and have you well on your way.
What the fuck is it yelling at me for? Okay, this is a humbling and humiliating experience.
It doesn't want you to crash your car. See, one of the beauties of these more expensive vehicles is they actually help and assist you so that you don't do something stupid. And are you noticing the skin? It's giving get off the roids. Not only does he have the loss of pigmentation, the acne, it's very bumpy, the skin, it could be a lot better. He needs to lay off the drugs, the partying, the gambling, the staying up all hours of the night. He needs to eat healthy. This is not good.
Nobody works hard. When everybody drives a Lamborghini, I'll tell you the secret, nobody's working hard. They're gambling.
I'm going to tell you the real secret is that the majority of people who buy Lamborghinis didn't get it from gambling. They actually got it from working hard.
I don't know what happened there. One second you drive in your brand new Lamborghini, the next second it's not working. Not my proudest moment.
And so several hours later, the Lamborghini, it's being towed. It's no longer working. We don't know what he did not do. He didn't explain this. It's not his proudest moment. Perhaps he needs to lock in. He needs to focus. If he were to get some G-Focus combined with Turkesterone and GO2 Max from Harder Than Last Time, he would have more energy, he could train harder, he could lock in.
First of all, what the is coolant, and why did nobody tell me that the car needs it? What even is coolant? But now we know.
And so apparently they sold him a brand new vehicle without any coolant. Does that even make sense? Was this vehicle in fact brand new? Who sells a brand new vehicle to a famous YouTube influencer without any coolant? The vehicle then breaks down? I mean, who exactly is paying for all this?
But also, how about that? Bumblebee alert. So that's what they gave me while the Lambo gets fixed.
And so at least they gave him a Lamborghini Urus to drive in the meantime as they have to fix this vehicle. I mean, it is in fact brand new. If he purchased a brand new vehicle, it's on them.
And recently I've just been feeling really retarded. I'm concerned for myself. I'm genuinely pretty sure something's wrong.
And so he's saying he feels autistic, happy, he doesn't know what's going on. He's going to take an IQ test. Perhaps that will be the answer to everything.
I'm taking an IQ test, get the bottom of it, and then if it's bad, I can go to the doctor and get my IQ fixed.
Last I checked, you can't fix your IQ. If you have a low IQ, you're not very intelligent, you can't just fix it. However, if your lower IQ is caused by staying up at all hours of the night, not getting enough sleep, using a lot of drugs, then of course, if you lay off of those things, that is the cure.
I seriously got to lock in here because this is no joke.
And so I'm telling you, there's no way that you can answer 20 questions that can give you your IQ. This is absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't make sense. And so whatever number comes out, it's not going to be accurate. Not to mention, he's literally streaming while doing the test. You need to lock in. There's a timer going. If it's based on how fast you answer the questions and he pauses to talk to the camera, it's going to give him a lower score.
Give me the max win, give me the max win, give me the max win.
Oh! Whoa!
Now listen, 89 is not all that bad. It's actually getting close to average. It's within one standard deviation of the mean. And so a lot of people have an IQ of 89 or lower. And considering he's often staying up all hours of the night, gambling, not taking enough sleep, using recreational drugs, his brain is probably in the fog. And so to get 89, I'm actually impressed.
Oh, get my certificate, put it on my wall, show my mom, hey mom, you raised a
Perk! Yeah, could you please print out that certificate? I want to frame it and put my 89 IQ on the wall. Yeah, for only $9.99, we can frame your certificate. Is that how this company actually makes money?
We're doing another IQ test because there's quite literally no way.
And so he's doing another IQ test. He's going to lock in, and we're going to find out how good is he really.
79! Oh my God, there's no way I got 79.
And so how high was it really? He's shocked. It's higher. It's better than expected. Like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. The bonus check, it's so much more than expected. It's more than expected.
79 is like the bottom 10% of all people.
And so it's not really that bad. To be in the bottom 10%, that means there's still 1 out of every 10 individuals who scored lower. And so he took it to heart. It really hurt his feelings, and he's decided, I gotta shave the head. I gotta color my hair. I need to look like Eminem. And so if I perhaps shave the head, dye my hair, and look like Eminem, I can spit lyrics harder than last time.
You see somebody working a corporate job, doing this or that and whatever, and they're obviously not happy, but if you ask them, like, what are you into? What are your passions? Everybody has a passion. Everybody has a dream.
See, here's the thing. Everyone has a passion and dream, but not many people are willing to work for it. The majority of people, they won't work for it. And so whether or not your IQ is in the bottom 10% or the top 10%, if you don't work for it, how well are you going to do? It's one thing to have a dream and have a passion, but if you don't have the courage to pursue that dream, you're never going to make it.
Oh, I love Legos, or I love cooking.
And so if you love cooking, get the friggin' cookbook. If you love training, get the training book. And if you want to learn to diet and keep the weight off for the rest of your life, get the Circle Diet book. And of course, we have all the supplements at Harder Than Last Time. And so if you really want something in life, go after it. Togi is living proof that if you want something, you can accomplish it. Now, he may have gotten very lucky, but he did in fact pursue his dream, his passion. It worked for him. Now, I don't suggest you copy that same passion, but if you have a goal in life, an ambition, please go after it.
A lot of people know they have the tools, but they don't embark on it because they're afraid of failing.
It's true. It's very true.
If you don't try, you're guaranteed to end up doing something that you don't want to do.
And so the new Togi Eminem, he's spitting bars. It's actually making sense now. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm, like the video if you in fact liked it, watch one of those 2 bloops, and of course, the clothing line, coaching plans by me and my team. If you need live coaching, hit me up. And until next time, I am out.